Davante Adams, you are a Los Angeles Ram. That's coming up next on Locked On Rams.
You are Locked On Rams, your daily Los Angeles Rams podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, Ramley, and welcome to an emergency breaking news edition of Locked On Rams, your daily podcast covering your Los Angeles Rams. Free and available wherever you get your podcasts. Locked On Rams, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We're also available over on YouTube, so if you haven't yet, do me a huge favor, join the party, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, hit the like button. My name is Doug McCain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. I've been covering LA sports for over a decade. 24/7 Sports, SI, Dodgers Nation. I also do NFL radio for Westwood One. I'm flying solo. We're going to do a full-blown episode tomorrow, just an emergency reaction episode. The People's Champ Travis Rogers will be joining me for tomorrow's Monday episode, reacting to the news that Davante Adams is a Los Angeles Ram. Ian Rappaport tweeted out sources. Davante Adams to the Rams. He gets a 2-year deal worth $46 million with $26 million guaranteed. He wanted to stay on the West Coast. He'll go on to tweet, Davante Adams wanted more than $20 million per year to stay on the West Coast. He gets that and more. And while there was always talk of him landing with Aaron Rodgers, he found the right place for him. And the Rams, they've been tweeting up a storm too. The Rams tweet out a picture of Davante Adams and said, going, back to Cali. Like that. Shout out to late great notorious B.I.G. from his song Going Back to Cali. Also, of course, Davante Adams from California went to Fresno State. And the Rams get that premier elite wide receiver that they've been after for the last couple of seasons. I can tell you that they were very interested in Mike Evans last offseason. They were very interested in trading up for Rome Odunze. They've been looking to add talent to the wide receiver room to try to give Matthew Stafford more weapons, to try to pair Puka Nacua with another wideout. Now, Cooper Kupp, unfortunately, they've been looking for a trade partner for him. They are most likely going to cut him. It's terrible to even think that, but the NFL is a business, and Les Snead, Sean McVay and company, they're trying to do what they think will give them the best chance to compete for a Super Bowl with Matthew Stafford back. And just a little rewind, every listeners will know, we've been talking about Davante Adams on this show. We said that this would be the guy that the Rams should consider going after, because if you add Davante Adams, even though he's on the older side, he's a little over 30, right? I mean, he's not the best age for an elite wide receiver, but I'll tell you why that's not going to matter, because you are all gas, no brakes, and you're all the way in with Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay and a young emerging core on the defensive side. And this is another signal of that. They have taken off the Rolex, thrown in the middle of the table, grabbed the wife's earrings, thrown in the table, took the lien on the mortgage, thrown in the middle of the table. They're all in on pursuing a Lombardi trophy in 2025. And what makes this such a sensible move for the Rams is you get an elite wide receiver who, yeah, maybe he's peaked, but still can be a top 5 to 10 guy, especially when you pair him with Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay and Mike LaFleur in this Rams offense. And you don't have to give him this long-term deal like T. Higgins or Godwin and some of these other wide receivers that could have been available. And I think Davante Adams still has that ceiling and that ability to be up there with the best receivers. He brings you that juice. This is someone who is in the conversation for best receivers in the league for the last 5 to 7 years. And you look at his contract, look, after the season in 2026, you could keep him in the horns. He could come back as a Ram at a $30 million cap hit, but you could also move on with $12 million in dead cap, and you would save $18 million. So essentially, even though this is a 2-year deal, it can work out as a one-year deal, so the Rams kind of have that protection. It's not going to be like we saw with Allen Robinson if things don't work out. And I would much rather bet on Davante Adams than Allen Robinson. This is a different caliber of player. And you look at this wide receiver room now. You got Puka Nacua, you got Tutu Atwell, you got Jordan Whittington, WR1, WR2, WR3. I think that you look at the money that they gave to Tutu Atwell, and I said this on this past episode, is everyone was freaked out about the $10 million as if they were coming to the grips with the fact they weren't going to get someone else and that you're paying him to be WR2. That was never the case, because that wasn't WR2 money. That wasn't WR1 money. This is the kind of financial commitment you need to make to a player that you expect that level of production from. And essentially what the Rams are signaling here is they were okay with giving $10 million to Tutu Atwell, $26 million to Davante Adams, and you look at $36 million for Davante Adams and Tutu Atwell versus giving Cooper Kupp $20 million, right? So that is how they're looking at this, and I think that this is a great move. I'm extremely excited. I'm pumped just because, look, it hurts just because it does feel like it feels like you're kind of moving on from Cooper Kupp in a way where, yeah, it hurts. But the truth of the matter is for this offense to take full advantage of what Matthew Stafford has left, you had to bring in someone that you could have as a downfield threat, someone that does different things that Cooper Kupp just wasn't able to do at this stage of his career. And I'll give you 5 reasons why I love this move. And the first reason is just that, is you raise the floor, you raise the ceiling of what this Rams offense could be in 2025. Puka Nacua, Davante Adams, that is a fantastic 1-2 punch right there. I don't know if Davante Adams is going to give Puka something very expensive. Is he going to give a Porsche like Shohei Ohtani gave to Joe Kelly for number 17? I don't know about that. I've seen photoshops of him wearing 15, so I think he was comfortable with that. But the consistency of Davante Adams is what I think you don't have to worry as much about the age factor, the durability factor. He's 32. He turns 33 on Christmas Eve this season. But you look at the consistency. He has put up numbers all throughout his career, no matter if it's with a good organization, a bad organization, a good quarterback, a bad quarterback. He's gone out there and he's produced. You look since 2019, 997 yards that season receiving. That was just 3 yards shy of a 1,000-yard season, and he played in 12 games that year. But 2020, 18 touchdowns, 1,374 yards. 2021, 1,553. 2022, 1516. 2023, 1144. 2024, 1063. So he's had 1,000+ yards receiving in every season dating all the way back to 2019. And even before that, 2018, he had 1,386 yards. This guy is good for a 1,000-yard season. Last 5 seasons, he's had 1,000-yard seasons, and in 2019, he was 3 yards away from that, and he would have had 7 straight 1,000-yard seasons. So you're getting that consistency. He's also 14th in separation still. So he still is a tier 1 separator, and this is someone that is elite when it comes to route running, getting in and out of his breaks and the footwork. And I just think you're going to get the best version of him, someone that's completely re-energized. He got to experience what it was like to be back with this guy, Aaron Rodgers, with the Jets. They had some fun, got some closure, but now he's with the Rams, with Matthew Stafford, an elite thrower of the football. And I think that he's going to be in a good position to be optimized. And yeah, he's not the blocker that Cooper Kupp is, but he can do the things that Cooper Kupp did while also giving you that ability to stretch the field and be a downfield threat. You're going to see him on underneath routes. You're going to see him extending plays for Matthew Stafford and getting first downs and moving the chain. So he can do the things that he can't do. Some of the things from a run blocking standpoint he can, but that's not what he's built to do, and that's not what he's meant to do. But you also get that weapon downfield that this Rams offense so desperately needed. And then also you look at the dependability. 2019, that was the last time he didn't play at least 14 games in a season, and he still played 12 that year. So for a guy that is 32 years old, just look at, last season, he even played 14 games. Before that, 17 in 23, 17 in 2022, 2021, 16. So this is someone who has just continued to go out there and post and be durable. He just does not miss games. I mean, he's definitely been sort of an Iron Man for that position. So the durability's there, the numbers are still there, and then you look at what the Rams need. On top of just a deep threat where Matthew Stafford can just throw the ball down the field, how about a red zone threat? We saw what Sean McVay did with Sammy Watkins. We saw what Sean McVay did with OBJ. He's 6'1". He is that red zone weapon that has really been the biggest absence for this Rams offense. I mean, the red zone against the Lions in the wild card game in 2024. I mean, you just need that guy that you can trust in those situations to go out there, you can target him, and he can make those plays. Davante Adams is going to bring that firepower, and you're hopefully going to see less field goal attempts. You're going to see better numbers for Matthew Stafford. And then on top of everything else, you look at the cost. You look at the opportunity cost of him compared to the Jets making a desperate move, getting him out of Las Vegas to pair him with Aaron Rodgers. That cost them a third-round pick. And because New York released Davante Adams, he's not going to count against the comp picks. So he's not going to have to cost you one of those. So there's that. And then, like I said, if he's great, the Rams win, he's happy here, sure, $30 million cap number in 2026. If not, you can get out with not a massive destruction of your cap situation. So, look, I think that this is a fantastic move for the Rams. It's the move that we were pushing for on this show, that we said that we felt like there was a good chance that this could happen. It just sounded like it made sense. LA, Davante Adams, a Super Bowl run with Matthew Stafford. They get their guy. You don't have to commit super long term. I mean, this is awesome. The Rams get to compete for a Super Bowl with elite players while not completely hamstringing or mortgaging their future. I think that this is just brilliant work by Les Snead and Sean McVay. And from what I was told, Sean McVay was hardcore on the recruiting effort trail for Davante Adams. I mean, it felt like this was a college coach almost trying to close on a 5-star and selling the idea of this offense and Stafford with him. And I also said last week, too, when Matthew Stafford agreed to come back, that one of the things that I felt strongly about was, hey, he came back with the plans in place to go out there and add another weapon to try to extend his career and increase his chances of winning a Super Bowl. And clearly that was the case. And yes, it hurts that we have to have these conversations about Cooper Kupp. And I've talked about it. It almost feels like Cooper Kupp is Andy from Toy Story, and now Davante Adams is Buzz Lightyear from Toy Story, and we're all hyped up and happy about this brand new toy, and we're kind of forgetting about the toy that we had so many great years and so much fun with. But yeah, it's the nature of the National Football League, unfortunately. And look, the Rams, do you trust Les Snead? Do you trust Sean McVay? Do you trust the two guys that were the two biggest reasons when it came to building a Super Bowl winner in 2021? I do. I trust them, because if there's any doubt, they don't need to say anything. They don't need to convince you in any way, shape, or form, because all they need to do is pull out that Lombardi trophy, slam it in front of you, and you can't say anything. If it was an organization that didn't have that, then yeah, maybe you can have a conversation, but that certainly isn't the case with these two. So yeah, we're going to talk more about it. This is just kind of a quick, rapid initial reaction. It's exciting. Your Los Angeles Rams are right in the conversation for the Super Bowl. I mean, think about this. I mean, this is a Rams team that whiffed in free agency last year. They started 1-4 in 2024, made a surprise run, won the division, won a playoff game, got Stafford back, and now they got Davante Adams back, where you don't have to commit long term, and hopefully you get an elite year out of him. So really, really excited about this move. Your Los Angeles Rams are all in for 2025, and we're going to break this down even more in depth tomorrow. We're going to be joined by my man Travis Rogers. The People Chant will be back, so we're going to get into it tomorrow. But let me know down below in the comment section. What is your reactions? What are your takeaways? Were you shocked by the move? I wasn't too shocked, because we've been talking about it on the show, but very excited about it. And also, I will say this. The very first episode to break down this year's draft, I planted my flag and I said, get me Colston Loveland. Get me Colston Loveland from the University of Michigan. Hail to the victors, valiant. No, get me Colston Loveland, the Michigan Wolverine, because now you add another tight end to this group, one that can do a lot of really interesting things to make this even more dynamic than this offense. With this receiving core, with this offensive line, with Kyren Williams, I think Blake Corum, another Michigan Wolverine, I think is going to have some interesting moments and make a case for more playing time next season. It's going to be one of the best offenses in the sport. It's just about getting that defense where it needs to be. But, hey, this Rams team, they're thinking a Lombardi trophy in 2025. But let me know down below. Give me all your comments, and we'll be back tomorrow. But that's going to do it for this episode of Locked On Rams. My name is Doug McCain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. And until next time, whose house? It's Locked On Rams house.